Good, good. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. It's 7:43, and I'll call the meeting back to order. At 6:45, we entered into the meeting, went right into executive session with the superintendent, the attorneys, and the assistant superintendents. I will ask that everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
Move the minutes of October 18th and November 8th and November 15th as listed.
Second.
Moved and seconded. On the question, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you again for being here tonight. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families. I'm still digesting my food, so if I fall asleep a little bit, ignore me. Please just be aware of the exits, the emergency exits in the event of anything that happens. There are doors directly behind you, to my right, your left, over to behind us on my left, your right. Any correspondence report?
On Monday, November 27th at 7:06 a.m., a FOIA request was received from Mr. Anthony Bonillo. The request was for bank statements.
Thank you very much, Ms. Padilla. And we'll hand it over to Mr. Superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see our students, our families, our administrators, our teachers here this evening. So for the superintendent's report, I first want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you had a wonderful time with your families and loved ones. We are very fortunate to have a tight-knit and supportive community here at Valley Stream 24, and for that, I am very thankful. So I point your attention to our screen here. I'm also very thankful for our families and our PTAs. In July, I met with our PTAs for a meet and greet session, and they expressed a desire for our district to unite through events that we plan. The Harlem Wizards game was an idea that was brought up, and we agreed that it would be a wonderful opportunity for our community and our district to come together. And thanks to the hard work of our PTAs, our volunteers, from planning to execution, made this experience a remarkable one for everyone. Over 300 tickets were sold, and the gym was packed. Again, a big thank you to our PTAs, our parents, community members, our administrators, our staff for making this such a great success and truly allowing us to make the connection with the game. And here are a few more pictures. Our administrators are sitting here in front of us. Again, I want to say thank you to all of you for your incredible support. And most importantly, I want to say thank you for showcasing your basketball skills in front of us. You did an incredible job. Responding to our community's preference for evening meetings, I introduced coffee hour with the superintendent during the evenings this year. The recent session was at William L. Buck School, and we delved into discussions on innovation as well as our shared vision for the future. It was so wonderful to see parents from all three school buildings come for coffee hour at William L. Buck School, and it shows that sense of unity and collaboration. And I'm excited to share more insights in the coffee hours to come. The next one is planned for December 21st at Brooklyn Avenue School. We're all here for our students. We come out each and every day in service of our students. And I had the pleasure of attending our student council elections this month. And I was truly impressed by the eloquent speeches that were delivered by our students in front of a sizable audience, including their own parents. Speaking in public requires courage and practice. And I have to say that I was incredibly proud of our students, and I even told them how proud I was of them both before and after they gave their speeches. I want to thank our parents and our staff and administrators for preparing our students for the elections. And I look forward to meeting our new student council representatives in the coming weeks to talk a lot about leadership and have some exciting events planned for our district this year. In exciting news, that is virtual reality. If you have not used it, I hear it is amazing. We are launching Valley Stream Vision 2030. Some people may be wondering why 2030. In 7 years, our kindergarten students will be graduating from 6th grade in 2030, and it will be here before you know it. This week, I met with our teachers to start gathering their input on what their thoughts would be on what this vision can look like for Vision 2030. The goal of our vision is to really think of ways to enhance the learning experience for our students, as well as the school experience for our staff. The key guiding question again is, what will school be like and look like and feel like for our current kindergartners once they graduate in 2030? So I say stay tuned for more updates on this as we work continuously and together to elevate our work and truly be a cutting-edge district. We have a data presentation tonight as well as an art showcase. I see a lot of our students eager and ready to share. We're going to begin first with our data report quickly. I invite Dr. Conte, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, to come up to the microphone and introduce the data presentation, as well as introduce our building principals.
Good evening to our Board of Education, Mr. Caracas, administrators, students, parents, staff, and community members. This evening, we're going to begin our data presentation by focusing on our buildings and the data that we collected over the years 2022-23 into this year. We're going to begin our program this evening with Dr. Comas coming forward and presenting on Brooklyn Avenue School.
Thank you, Dr. Conte. Good evening, Vice President Hernandez, board members, Mr. Caracas, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to present tonight. Before I begin, I just want to say, Mr. Caracas, thank you for the compliment about the Harlem Wizards. Any points that we scored, including my own, was given to us, so I appreciate that. And at one point, they were raising our kindergarten students to give us some more points right over the basket, so thank you for that. So if I may take this opportunity, and if it does please the board, I'd like to approach the board this way instead of behind the podium, if that's okay with you. Plus, I also am intrinsically prone to talk with my hands, so it is helpful to me if I can point. So looking at the data for Brooklyn Avenue School for the 22-23 school year, this is looking at the data overall for our students from K to 6 in reading. In looking at these data, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at two pieces right here, and I'll do my best to present the data and also to enlighten some of our friends in the audience that may not be familiar as we are with how to interpret these data. So in looking at reading for Brooklyn Avenue School for all grades last year, when the students arrived in the fall, they took their first test, which measured their achievement in the fall, and the children scored at the 47th percentile. In the spring, when they took that test again, they did take an assessment in the middle, in the winter. In the spring, when they took that test, they achieved at the 59th percentile, showing some advancement there. Overall, with our students for the entire year, their growth measure was in the 59th percentile. And if you notice, we're trying to get all of our students, obviously, in the green and the blue. With the 59th percentile, we were 2 percentiles away from the green. That gives us some great places to begin with our students next year. Also, these data here help our teachers that work really hard to focus in, certainly in our students that are in the blue and some of the green areas here that are excelling, to challenge them a little bit higher, and also to help our friends here that have a lot of opportunities for further development here and digging really deep into our data. Now we'll look at mathematics for last school year, once again, the 22-23 school year. You see that our students in the fall began the year in the 48th percentile. And then once again, they brought themselves to the 59th percentile. It's very hard as a principal, 2 percentiles away from the green, but we're moving certainly in a very strong direction with our students. And you'll see that in terms of growth, students did really well, moving themselves into the 72nd percentile overall for the year. And almost 50% of our students completing the year at or above grade level. That was mathematics. And looking at this year, like I mentioned, the students take the assessments when they first enter the school in September, and to begin this year in reading for the Brooklyn Avenue students, they're in the 42nd percentile. And you see right now, leading out the year, the students in reading, 30% of our students are beginning the year above grade level or at grade level, with certainly some great opportunities here to find opportunities for our students to grow. And looking at math, same piece here. You see that the students here will demonstrate that they've began the year in the 44th percentile. Oops. And again, we're close to 30, but the 29th percentile with our students exceeding or at grade level beginning this year for their current grade level once again. And this looks at our student data for our friends in grades 3, 4, 5, and 6 with their state assessments. For English language arts last year, 51.37% of our students achieved the grade level standard in ELA, testing 122 of our students in grades 3 through 6 in ELA. And still a nice amount of our students are not testing at 87%, 87% of our students not testing at ELA. And in math, 56.33% were proficient in that assessment for grades 3 through 6. Again, close. 128 students took that test last year, when 81% of those students did not. Certainly our efforts this year will be to decrease our students that are opting out far below the 40th percentile where they are now. And if I may, Mr. Iacono. Thank you.
I can't go behind the podium now that you said that, so I'm going to have to stand. Good evening, everyone. Could you do it? Yeah, thank you. So we're going to look at the data for the Carbonaro School for the 22-23 school year. The first slide focuses in on our reading scores, and we started the year off at 57th percentile in terms of achievement. And what we do after that fall assessment is we get together with our teachers and we have data meetings. And in those data meetings, we'll look at the needs of individual students, we'll look at the needs of groups of students, and we'll also look at the strengths of the students. So we'll look to improve and we'll look to enhance at the same time. And Dr. Comas did mention a winter assessment. That winter assessment allows us to now reflect upon our data meetings and say, you know what, we are trending in the right direction, or we need to make some adjustments and potentially look at some prerequisite skills. Can I go back one slide, please? So we started the year off in 2022 and 23 at the 57th percentile, and we increased to the 64th percentile in achievement, and our overall growth was 67th percentile for our reading in the 22-23 school year. Our next slide, again, is for the 22-23 school year. The focus here is math, and we began the fall at the 55th percentile. And again, going through that process of our data meetings, we increased to 65th percentile in terms of achievement, and our overall growth was at the 74th percentile. So we had a nice amount of growth and a great amount of achievement there for our students. Now we'll look at, can we go one more, please? Okay. So this is our current school year, 23-24 school year. This is our baseline for this year. And our achievement across all grades is at the 51st percentile. Now, what we do year after year is we'll look at what our plans showed, what our data meeting showed. We look at the plans that were effective, and we'll also look at plans that were effective for the students the previous year so that we can either enhance those strategies and present more academic support in depth. And again, we have the opportunity to assess our path when we do the winter assessment. So that's our focus for reading. And now we will focus in on our math data. Our math data for this year, we are beginning at the 54th percentile. So what we have the luxury of looking at each category, and we could see specifically where the students lie within those beautiful colors that you see there, right? And that allows us to not only target the individuals, but it allows us to also focus in on groups that might have the same strengths and groups that have the same needs. So we allow our teachers to take time to look into the programs that we have and collaborate with each other, and then provide an in-depth analysis for groups and individuals and even the classes as a whole. So it really works really well with the collaboration between not only the principal and Dr. Conti and the teachers, but the three building principals as well. We'll share a lot of ideas and effective ways to move our students forward. This is our data for the state assessment. For ELA, in the 22-23 school year, we are at 64.95% proficient, and in math, we are at 76.9 proficient. We still have another opportunity here to look at additional data along with the NWA. Again, this is all part of our planning and all part of our data meetings. And I present Ms. Gaddy.
Good evening. It is my pleasure this evening to present to you the data for the William L. Buck School. Our scholars and superstars are working very hard, and we are hoping that that is reflective in our data, both of last year and as we move into the new school year. So this data right here represents reading for last year across all grades, K through 6, and you will see that our students in achievement began the year at the 56th percentile, with 45% of them scoring at meeting or exceeding the grade level standards, and we ended the year in the 66th percentile for reading, with just about 58% of them being at grade level or above grade level. So we had some nice growth in reading last year. Thank you. This is our math data for last year. We started the year, our achievement was at 53rd percentile. We ended the year at the 61st percentile, and our students landed in the 64th percentile for their growth overall in the school year. This is our baseline data, which shows where our students came. We know that it is a new grade level for scholars, it's new material, and so we tend to see that they are not as strong in September. And then, as Mr. Iacona was explaining, our teachers will meet with principals, with Dr. Conti, through PD, and through all of our programs in order to move those achievement, as we always want to see our students in the green and the blue. In reading, we started at the 57th percentile for the school year. And in math, we were at the 51st percentile. So our students will be working in collaborative groups. They'll be coming in for extra help, using a lot of our new programs that we have this year, both digitally and with their classroom teacher. Dr. Conti will get into some of those in a little bit later, so I won't bore you with them now. And our state exam results for the 22-23 school year, we had 126 scholars test along grades 3 through 6, which in ELA showed that we were at 71.57 proficient, meaning that the students were on or above grade level. So 71.5%, that represents 126 students who took the exam. 81 students across those grades did not test. For math, we were at 77.2% proficient, representing 137 scholars who took the exam and 69 who did not test. Thank you. Dr. Conti.
So now we're going to look at the New York State data for everyone combined for the district, and we're also going to look at some NYSA data results. So when you look at this for our grades 3 through 6, 252 students out of 405 were proficient with a level of 3 or 4. So we come up with a district percent of 62.2% for ELA. For math, it's 69.75%. 302 students out of the 433 either scored a level 3 or a level 4 on the state assessments. We also look at the NYSA results. This is the New York State English as a Second Language Achievement Test. We give this test to all of our ENL students. And when you look at that, what we do is we look at the progression for our students. We have entering, emerging, transitioning, expanding, and commanding. We want our students to become commanding students. We were excited this past year, out of 111 students that took the NYSA SLAT, 27 students scored in the commanding levels. So now they will leave the program. However, we will offer support for the next 2 years. In order to exit out of the ENL program, the only approved criteria from that program includes scoring commanding or expanding on the New York State test with a 3 or 4, and also on the NYSA slat. I like to look at the data for NWEA and New York State because as you've seen the data come through this evening, you've seen that some of our students take the assessment and some of them did not. So we want to make sure we have a strong handle on where every student is. So I look at correlational data. I look at the match between students who took both assessments, how they were identified as needing targeted support to see where the percent of matches on that. And we had 83.3% for ELA and 94.4% between the two assessments. Basically, what that tells us is that we can use the NWEA data for every student and kind of know where they're at and what their strengths and weaknesses are. What do we do when we find out about that? We put in place a lot of resources and interventions. Every single principal has data meetings with staff. We have daily small group instruction for ELA and math going on in all the classrooms. We offered permanent substitutes in each building this year to help and assist with students' literacy skills. We have lots of programs, an IXL program, WAGL, Extra Math. We utilize a program called Level Literacy Intervention to help our students with their literacy and math skills. We offer academic intervention services. We have extra help sessions. We have learning lab, and we offer professional development throughout the year because we want to make sure we target everyone's needs, whether it's for challenge needs or enrichment needs. Does anyone have any questions for us?
So any board questions? Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Conte. And thank you to the principals. Let's give them a round of applause for their presentation. And Mr. Iacono is going to introduce the presenters for our art showcase.
So this is an exciting time. As principals, we have the luxury of seeing students' artwork as it's completed, but the best part is seeing the progression of the artwork. You'll see the artwork of the students displayed throughout the hallways. And I know that I've taken a few pieces and put them into my office. They really are tremendous, and our students are doing an outstanding job of showcasing their art skills. And of course, our fabulous art teachers do an outstanding job of guiding those skills and enhancing those skills. So you have some artwork here on display this evening, and you'll hear a little bit about each piece as the students have an opportunity to share about their creations. At this time, I'd please welcome Ms. Rosenthal, the art teacher at the Robert W. Carbonaro School.
Good evening, Mr. Caracas, Board of Education, community members, family, and students. My name is Mrs. Rosenthal. I'm the art teacher at the Robert W. Carbonaro School, and I am so honored and excited to present the Art Recognition Awards tonight. We are very grateful always for your support and recognizing the arts and highlighting our art program that we work hard every day to build, and that our students are so wonderful and very accomplished in. I'd like to call up first Chris Claremont, who created this beautiful piece called Neurographic Bubbles, inspired by mindfulness and self-reflection. Chris couldn't be here tonight, so we will present that to him tomorrow at school. Everly John, come on up, Everly.
My name is Everly John. I created this piece called Dilas de los Muertos, inspired by the Hispanic holiday, Day of the Dead. I use watercolors and markers to create my artwork.
Annabelle Longo.
Hi, my name is Annabelle Longo. I created this piece called Graffiti Name, inspired by graffiti artist Banksy. I used paint, colored pencils, and markers to create my artwork.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leanne Geronzik. I'm the art teacher at Buck, and it is my honor to announce the students from William L. Buck. First student is Alina Chen.
I created a pumpkin inspired by artist Sayori Kusama. I made a tie-dye background with markers, water, and tinfoil. I designed my pumpkin with polka dot patterns.
Next student is Luna Cowley. Come on up.
I created a birch tree forest with emphasis on the color autumn leaf. I used Sharpie and chalk pastels to create my artwork.
And the next student is Esteban Salazar.
I created a perspective pumpkin patch with lines that led to a vanishing point. I used Sharpie, crayon, and watercolor to design my artwork.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Barcy, and I am extremely excited to talk on behalf of my Brooklyn Avenue students. So Bella cannot be here tonight, so I will be talking about her artwork. So I'd like to highlight Bella Almonte. She's in 5th grade, and she created Lourdes Villagomez inspired crystals for Hispanic Heritage Month. We discussed foreground, middle ground, and background, and learned how to shade using cross-hatching. And she used watercolor and Sharpie on watercolor paper. And Layla Wedderburn also could not be here tonight. She is in 1st grade, and she created an abstract painting inspired by the artist Joan Moreau and surrealism as well as dreams. So she created an oil pastel and watercolor resist on watercolor paper. And I would love to call up Brianna Gutierrez.
My name is Brianna Gutierrez. I created an abstract landscape inspired by Enes Alvarez, and the landscapes in the Southwest. I use oil pastels to create my artwork.
Thank you. Students, if you could just come on up, we're going to grab a picture right over by your artwork.
What incredible artwork. Let's give one more round of applause for our students for their work, as well as for our teachers for all their support. And thank you again to our principals and Dr. Conte for presenting our data for the district today. That concludes the superintendent's report.
And thank you. I will just say, look, on behalf of the board, some of us up here are very good with words, some are good with numbers, but that we cannot do. So very good job, guys. We're very, very proud of you guys. So we are going to take a very quick 5-ish minute break. There are refreshments in the back that you guys could help yourselves to. And then we will continue our meeting right afterwards. Thank you.